guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome. My name is Lauren and I normally do college related videos as well as fashion related videos here on my channel. So for today's video I am going to be doing a college related video. This will be probably one of the last college videos I can do for quite a while, simply because of everyone is quarantined right now. Universities are overall kind of like online, so I can't really do my normal like days in the life or anything like that. So this will probably be one of the last few ones I do for quite a bit until school gets back. But I did want to go ahead and do kind of like an informative video, since I am able to do like a regular just sit down video. One, yes, I am in my car because I'm still not sure on how I want to do my filming setup, and then being home with everyone being home all the time, I just wanted to have as little background noise as I can. You might hear like the air because my car is on, because you know, don't want to suffocate, need air. But yeah, I'm just filming in here just because I felt this was going to be the best spot for me to film this kind of video. So what I am overall going to be talking about is living on campus, like an honest review, pros and cons. Just so, because like there's a lot of people who are seniors in high school gonna be going onto dorm life or up on campus apartment, whatever your case may be. And I just want to share my experience, my tips, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the benefits, the downside, all of that, all the stuff you need to kind of like overall know. Of course, with every university, the dorms and apartments are different based on how your university is set up. So, background information. If you are new to my channel, I am a junior in college. I'm about to be a senior, I think, the next year. I don't really know. We're just gonna say I'm a junior. I've lived on campus for about 3 years. So I've lived in a standard dorm where it is communal bathroom for the whole floor, kind of like a standard freshman kind of style. I have lived on an on-campus apartment with 4 other people, and then I've lived on another on-campus apartment with just me and one other person. So I do kind of have an idea of what living on campus is like, the struggles. I will definitely leave cards throughout the video and at the end of the video of what my dorms and apartments on campus look like, just so you can get a better idea. I go to MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University, so I go to like an overall public university. So just to give you a little background, like I do know what I'm talking about. I have lived on campus more than 1 year, so I do have an idea of the downsides and the good. So just want to start with the kind of like overall kind of like apartments or dorms you will probably see that your university has for you to do. Now, biggest thing with them is, unlike like an apartment where you're signing, say, like a 6-month lease or a year lease, or sometimes even 5 or 8 months or something like that lease, you are signing a lease pretty much for almost about a whole year. You're signing one for the fall semester and the spring semester. Each semester is about 4 months, so you're signing about an 8-month lease. It's not a whole year, but you are signing for that whole school year. So put that out there, because most of the time they are very selective and picky, and there's only certain times when you can cancel your sign up, basically. So what I want to start with is dorms. So typically for dorms, these are kind of more of the styles that I have seen, not just on my university, but throughout different universities and other dorm tours. So I will start with the style that I lived in, which was a communal bathroom situation where it was me and one other person in one room, and then the whole floor shared the bathroom and the laundry area, and you have an RA per floor. The one I was in, I think they had it like, it was like they had like freshmen only, and then they had first time, which those two were essentially the same kind of style. Basically, the only difference was people who were freshmen only was like straight out of high school, and first year were people who were first year to that university. So that's basically the only really difference between it. So with that, it's just essentially like I just described, you, one other person sharing one room. I have a whole tour of what my situation looked like so you can get a better idea. Communal is interesting. I will say that. I will get into that later, but communal style it's not for everyone. I'm not gonna say it is, because it's not for everyone. It's definitely an experience. I'll leave it at that. The next kind of style is dorms. It's still kind of almost communal, but not exactly, where it may be you and one other person in a room, and then with your bathroom, you share, say, with 2 or 3 other rooms, all share one bathroom. And most of the time they'll have, say, like 3 showers, 3 toilets, 4 sinks or something like that. So they'll have a couple sinks versus like in the giant communal floor style where it's the whole floor sharing, where they won't have as many. Along with that, after that, you kind of get to where you can have it where it's just 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, you and one other person. Sometimes you can do it where the whole bedroom is yours and it's just a private room. Trying to think of what else there's also, let's see, I wrote notes because I was like, there's so many different kind of styles you can do the dorms, so it's really kind of hard to just say exactly what are the main ones. There's a lot of different types, but overall, essentially with a dorm, it is a room. Typically you will have one other person you share the room with, and the bathroom situation will vary to you, either it just being you and that one other person, which you are very lucky if you get to have that, or you will have it shared with, say, 2 other rooms or a whole floor of people. So that's overall for the dorms. For apartments, our university has 2 styles of apartments. I have lived in both. The one main kind of apartment style they have, which is kind of like your standard apartment in a way. It's 4 people, 2 baths. You share the living room and kitchen space, the common area. You have your own bedroom. You don't have to share that. You'll normally share the bathroom with just one other roommate, and then the other 2 roommates will share that one bathroom, and you all share the living area. And then the other style of apartment they have at my university, where it's me and one other person. Again, kind of similar situation. You have your own bedroom, you share the bathroom, and then you share the living space. Typically for apartments, that's how it will be. Sometimes there are cases where you can have even your own bathroom as well. So that is possible, but that is overall the styles that they typically have. It's either dorm or apartment, kind of one of those. I'm not going to talk about, put this out there, if there's someone looking into this, like houses for like sororities. I'm not in a sorority. I've never lived in a sorority house, so I can't speak on that. I don't know how those are exactly run and all that. So if you are looking into that kind of style, I just don't have the expertise on that, and I haven't lived in one of those, so I'm just not going to talk about that. So if you are looking into that, definitely search more specifically for that topic. So there's obviously the ups and the downs. I'm going to start with the downside of living on campus, just because that's how I have it written in my notes, so that I'm not forgetting something. The downside. So I'm just going to be completely honest with you about all of this. I'm just going to be real with you. I've lived in many different styles. I've seen many different things. The wonderfulness of living on campus. So depending on the style you pick will vary on your experience, I'm going to be honest. So for me, when I was in my freshman year, the kind of communal bathroom situation, it's interesting. Communal bathroom, like I said earlier, is not for everyone. Communal style is not for everyone. The way they had it at my university was we had like a laundry room per se, and it had 2 washers, 2 dryers. And then I can't remember exactly how many rooms there were on each floor, but I want to say at least we definitely had probably close to 20 rooms. So 20 rooms, 2 girls per room. There was, I think, maybe like 1 or 2 rooms where it was just like a private, but overall I'd say somewhere in between 30 to 40 girls on one floor is what we had. And then the bathrooms, they were, I think we had, I want to say it was 4 showers and then 4 toilet stalls. And then I want to say there was probably like 6 or so sinks. There was definitely more sinks. That kind of style, it's not terrible. The biggest thing is, the hardest part is you're having to work around many people's schedules, many people's class times, when they're going to class, when they're up, all that kind of stuff. You're having to deal with that. You're having to deal with the grossness of sharing the bathroom with several people you don't know. That's just the reality. Another thing you're having to deal with is, do not leave your stuff. If you leave your stuff, I'm telling you now, if you leave your bar of soap in the shower, I wouldn't recommend using it when you remember that you left it in there later that evening. I just would throw it away. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Somebody on my street is blasting their music. Ugh. Trying to film a video. Anyways, like I was saying, so there is that part. You do have to share the bathroom. Laundry room. So the laundry room, the biggest thing with this is going to be for all of them, because all the apartments and dorms, they overall have a laundry facility, whether it be just per floor, or for the apartments, we had a laundry kind of room where it's just a bunch of washers and dryers. People are going to leave their stuff. I'm just going to be real with you. People are going to leave their stuff. I have had one girl one time, like, always set an alarm for when your stuff is supposed to be done. Because I had one girl, my alarm maybe went off, maybe not even a minute ago. I was walking down, coming in the room, and she was taking my wet clothes out of the washer, setting them on top of the washer, even though there was no dryer open. And when I say I dead looked at her like, really? You're just gonna take my clothes out when there's clearly nowhere for me to put them? I digress. But you're gonna run into people like that who, I don't want to say don't have no home training, but people leave their stuff in the laundry room. And at the end of the day, the laundry room, it's the responsibility of the people on that floor or in that apartment place to keep it clean. Like, it's your responsibility. And people are going to leave their stuff. My golden rule on how I handle that situation is, if there is a dryer open and you leave your clothes in the washer, I will put your stuff in the dryer. But if you leave your stuff in the dryer for hours on end, like, I'll try to wait. Like, if I come in and I'm putting my stuff in, and I need to put my stuff in the dryer, and I see the dryer's off, and I open the door and your clothes are in there, if they're dry, I'll try to wait a few minutes, see if somebody's coming. But I'm only gonna wait so long. Like, I'm not gonna wait on you all day to get your stuff. So I will move your stuff and set it on a table. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as it's done and it's clean, you're good. But, like, people are gonna leave their stuff for hours on end. I had a friend who would wash her stuff late at night, like 1, almost 2 a.m. Wash her stuff. And, like, she was lucky enough that people were nice enough to finish it off and put her stuff in the washer and set it aside when it was done. But it's like, you're gonna have people who just leave their stuff. One big thing, if you're kind of doing more of a freshman style, you're gonna have people who have never had to do their laundry. Like, you're gonna have people who don't know, hey, this is your responsibility to come get your clothes. It's not our job to do this. So there's that. I don't even think that was on my list. I just kind of went on a tangent. But, there's that. Now sticking to my list of actual things, because I'm looking, this is already like a 15-minute video, and I don't want this to be too long. So, I'm just going to run through the cons kind of really quickly. Try to have my paper up so I'm not like staring. Older buildings, smaller rooms. Like, I'm being honest, like the dorm I was in, it was the newest on-campus living they had. But the apartments that I was in, it wasn't like really old. It still looked really nice, but you know it's been there for a few years. But then the last apartments that I just got out of, you could tell they were really old. You could tell, you knew they were really old. So you could see that. Smaller rooms. They have to have a lot of space to fit a lot of people, and the rooms aren't going to be that big. Like, I'm just telling you, they're not going to be that huge, and a good percentage of the time you're probably going to have to share it with somebody. So I'd say it's like an average like bedroom size, maybe a little bit bigger than the average, just because you are sharing it. But I mean, it's not an enormous room most of the time. It is older buildings. With older buildings comes problems. Just keeping it real for you again. Don't get me started on the problems I have had. I'll try to make this brief. First dorm, no issues with plumbing or anything like that. First apartment, my room, out of all of my roommates, it was 4-bedroom. My room in the spring semester got infested with termites. So I had to move last minute. I had to move less than a month before move out day was, because my room got infested with termites literally every week. I mean, maintenance was, well, let me tell my other story. This last apartment, I have never had to call maintenance so much for plumbing. It was like insane. Like when first moved in, I don't even think, like the toilet didn't really even work. And then stuff that would happen plumbing wise that is just absolutely disgusting would happen. Not going to get into details. All I'm going to say is maintenance is great. They were amazing. And when it comes to those kind of situations like electrical problems, oh, I also had electrical problems. Yep. It was the oldest apartment that they have on campus. They only have 2 apartment options, but this was the oldest one. And older buildings becomes more problems. Our maintenance people, God bless them. I probably met every maintenance person we have on campus because of the amount of issues. But anyways, yeah, older buildings, more problems. Essentially, you get what I'm saying. The common saying of not the most comfortable beds. Listen, this is not, I'm just going to tell you, it's not a bed that you're sleeping at home. It's not the most comfortable. Like the way I tell it to people is, it's not a bed you're sleeping at home, but it's doable. You know, get you like a mattress pad, some toppers, foam, something like that to make it a bit more comfortable. It's doable. It's not that bad. So that's just my opinion on it. It's not great, but it's not like awful. But I do feel like it is worth mentioning. The next thing I have is classification-based housing. So what does that simply mean? That basically means, for example, at my university, the nicest dorms on campus, the freshmen get them. They are located in the best spot in campus. They are they are in the center of campus. Our like student union is right around the corner. Our other dining hall is the other way. They're located in the best area of campus. Because when you are a freshman, we want to make it easier for you and make it more convenient for you. So that is that. Versus the apartments are a bit further out. Of course, they have a lot of older buildings, but a lot of you, after your freshman year, you can kind of like do like, it's easier to kind of just pick wherever you want. It really doesn't matter what your classification, but like freshman year, they do get the option for the nicest housing. Just gonna put it like that. One thing I wrote down, which this, depending on where you are looking, where your university is, some people say living on campus is cheaper. Some people say living off campus is cheaper. That's a whole video in itself to discuss. But it really just depends on what you're looking at. What are your big needs? What do you like? What are things you're willing to sacrifice? Is what's going to come down to the price. Sometimes you can find something that is pretty much equivalent to what you're living on campus. Sometimes you can find cheaper. Sometimes living off campus is more expensive. It really varies. So it just depends on your situation. For example, if your university is, say, 30 minutes away from your parents' house, Like, it would be a lot cheaper for you to stay at home. Like, it just depends on your situation. What would be cheaper, what would be more expensive. I'm not going to get into too much detail with that. But yeah. So the last thing I have on my cons is probably the most irritating thing about living on campus. The rules. The rules you have to follow with living on campus. Like, I'm going to say it right now, one thing. I love candles. I really like candles. Living on campus, you can't have candles. That's one of the biggest things. Every university has their list of what you are allowed to bring on campus and what you can't. Obviously, certain things are understandable because people are forgetful. And I understand why they don't allow you to have a candle, because of the simple fact that someone would leave it on and go to class and then, you know, it could burn down the building. So there's certain things that are understandable. But the rules is the biggest thing. With, again, going back to where I lived freshman year. Whenever you have someone over, checking people in and checking people out, oh my, is the most irritating thing. It is so annoying. I'm not even gonna. Like, I understand the safetiness and the reason for it and all that, but it is so frustrating. It's just very aggravating, even if that person is literally gonna be there for like less than 10 minutes. You have to check them in and check them out. Rules of what you can bring to campus and what you can't. Rules on, you still have to have fire drills. Yes, people. Depending, again, so for freshmen only, we had, I think, like 2 fire drills, I think, just so that people know, like, hey, if the fire alarm goes off, this is what we do, this is where we go, blah, blah, blah. Again, with living in a freshman only situation, some people haven't grown up yet, and we had some wonderful people who, let's just say, and put it bluntly, like the idea of pulling the fire alarm at 2 a.m. Thank you for that, wonderful people. That is how I want to spend my 2 a.m. Yes, that happens several times in where I live. Rules, at the end of the day with the rules, like, they're there for a reason, and a lot of time the rules, here's what happens with them. All it takes is one person to mess up everything for everyone, and then they make a rule. Like, literally, there's so much stuff where all it takes is one person to mess something up and to ruin it for everybody. And it's why they have the rules. So, that's what I'm going to say on the cons. Definitely leave some down below because I didn't touch on everything. There's so many more things that are cons and pros. I'm going to get into the pros just so this video isn't too long. But yeah, so the pros of living on campus. The biggest pro of living on campus is you don't have to commute to class, well, to university. That is the biggest thing. And I am, again, someone who, I went to community college before I came to my university. I think I was there for like a year or so, or a year and a half or something like that. And having to commute every morning is frustrating because unlike with living on campus, the biggest thing is, like, when you live on campus, you don't have to worry about the commute, you don't have to worry about driving. Therefore, you can pretty much get up, you can pretty much leave your dorm, say, with 15 minutes before class is supposed to start, and get there on time, depending on how far the building is. But essentially, you get my point. You don't have to leave your dorm or apartment as early as you would if you lived off campus. That's the biggest thing, is you don't have to worry about commute, you don't have to worry about gas, all that stuff. Thing is, I kind of touched on this briefly already, which is maintenance, on-site maintenance. Most apartment places have like an on-site maintenance team. I just want to bring this because, like, I know for my university, they have a really good maintenance team who is really good about getting back to you and coming as soon as they can and trying to figure out what is wrong and what is going on and try to fix it for you. Speaking from someone who has had to call them multiple times, I will say that that is one good thing, is having maintenance that you don't have to worry about, that they can come and just get it done, fix it, all that stuff. Another big thing that I wanted to touch on is when you're living on campus, you do not have to worry about, say if there's an event going on campus that you want to go to that's later in the afternoon, you're already on campus. You don't have to, like, say if all your classes finish at say 2 o'clock and then the event isn't until like 5:30 in the afternoon, you can go back to your dorm and wait. You don't have to feel like you're stuck on campus and you don't have anything you could do per se. Like, you can go back to your dorm, you could do this, you could do that. You don't feel per se as trapped because you want to go to this event. Another big thing that's a pro of living on campus, I would say, is if you forget something in your dorm, you can go back. That is such a huge benefit, I will say. It is nice being able to go back if you forget something. For example, I am a fashion major. I've had times where I forgot my sewing equipment for my sewing class. And I had to tell my professor, hey, I don't have any of my sewing equipment. None of it. I do live on campus though. Can I go and get it? And she did let me leave and go and get it. And I ended up, you know, being able to do the assignment. So that is the big beneficial thing, is like when you do live on campus, if you have classes where you have to have certain materials like that, where you can't do the stuff without that, sometimes you have professors that are nice enough to let you leave. Sometimes you have professors that are like, well, I'm not letting you leave. Most professors will let you leave if you just tell them, hey, I forgot this. I live on campus. I'm literally in this building right over here. Especially if you have like an early morning class, like, they get it. It's early in the morning. Another pro I will say is meal plans. Meal plans, that's a whole topic in itself and how they work, but being able to have like a meal plan for when you live on campus, and when you live off campus, you can still have a meal plan, but like living on campus, depending on your classification, sometimes they require you to have one. I know when I was a freshman, they did require us to have the biggest and most expensive meal plan. Thank you for that. You are allowed to have a meal plan, and most of the time I feel like most universities have pretty good dining options. Whether that be some fast food places that are pretty decent. I know my university has like Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut, Subway, Panda Express, some couple other places. And I will say, like, our big dining halls, there's one that's really good, and then there's one that kind of has like a mixed review. I will say from freshman year they have gotten better, so I can say that. But overall, that is one good thing about living on campus, is a lot of times you will be required to maybe have some form of a meal plan, or just being able to have the food there and not have to worry about, like, you spent this much on groceries already. Do you really need to be going to Pizza Hut and getting something to eat? Like, all that kind of stuff. So overall, these are kind of like the main points I wanted to hit for pros and cons of living on campus. There's definitely a whole bunch more. There's so many more that you could come up with that I could say that would make this video an hour long, and we are not doing that because I could see my time and I'm already at 30 minutes. So hopefully it will not be that long. But there's so many pros and cons. You really have to look at your situation, what your university is offering, what is best for you. I will be honest, for me, when I first moved to where my university is, I did not want to do my first on-campus dorm. I didn't want to do communal style, but I will say it is good if you are moving to a city that you don't know. Like for me, where my university is, I moved to a city that I didn't know, so it was kind of more of a beneficial to at least do the first year, and then you can decide what you want to do for then on. I definitely say it can't hurt to do 1 year. But yeah. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, interesting. I hope it helps out some of you seniors in high school and are having to make the decision on what you're going to do about housing and how you want to handle it and all that stuff, and what is the best option for you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it was good. Definitely check out some of my other college videos. I have a whole college journey playlist, as well as like a kind of like my college vlogs, all that stuff that you could definitely check out. I will have throughout the video and at the end of the video for you to see, and I hope this is helpful. I'll see you guys later. Bye.